Perfect.
Wide receiver. I actually think this is a pretty big deal. And when I texted you and I was like, hey, I think Allen Robinson to the Rams is actually a pretty big deal. And it was like right when Devontae had gone to the Raiders. And you were like, yeah, it's not as big a deal as Devontae going to the Raiders, which you were correct about. But I still stand by what I said, which is that this is a big deal. We all think Allen Robinson's really good. He has been absolutely, last season was just an absolute disaster. And it was not his fault. Like, I don't believe that his talent, ability, drive, anything like that fell off a cliff. You could clearly see what the problem was, and it wasn't him. No. And you genuinely had to feel bad for the guy. I felt bad for the guy. Anyway, I don't feel bad for him anymore. He got traded to the Rams, and Robert Woods was out the revolving door the other way. I think this is a huge upgrade, not only for Allen Robinson, but for the Rams.
100%. I, at first, was a little hesitant to call it a big deal because I thought Robinson and Woods might cannibalize each other, with Robinson being the better option there. But ultimately, I didn't know that three of these receivers, Cooper Kupp's getting his. He's still my number one receiver, regardless of who else goes there. But I saw those two maybe cannibalizing each other and making it a little unsteady. Not so anymore. This is awesome that Robert Woods has been traded. There's going to be plenty of room for both Kupp to be the wide receiver one and still get a top 15 season potentially out of Allen Robinson.
I agree completely. I think top 15, maybe even a little better.
Could be. So you mentioned last year, absolute disaster. But before that, Robinson was the wide receiver 8 and wide receiver 9. And that was with Trubisky throwing the block. We could go down the list. Blake Bortles was the best quarterback he played with. The other ones were just, and Blake Bortles was bad. There's no doubt about that. That was the best
you're right about that.
Over his career. It's been abysmal. So he's had top 10 receiver seasons with complete garbage throwing him the rock. He's never seen fewer than 151 targets when he plays a full season, last year notwithstanding. And more importantly, the situation he walks into, obviously Stafford by far and away, like miles and miles, the best quarterback he's playing with. But even then, the scheme is that much better. They have been top 5 in passing yards in 3 of their last 4 seasons, top 10 in 4 or 5, never lower than 13. And that's with Jared Goff at fucking quarterback. Absolutely atrocious. Even more importantly, they had 2 top 20 receivers in 4 of 5 seasons with the Rams. The only time they didn't was a lot of injuries, and Goff just had like 3,800 yards and 20 TDs and was absolutely atrocious. And they still had Woods as the wide receiver 17 and Kupp as the wide receiver 30. So they've always had at least 2 top 30 receivers, but in 4 or 5, they've had at least 2 top 20 receivers. They actually had a season in 2017 where they had 3 top 20 wide receivers, with Kupp as the wide receiver 14, Woods as the wide receiver 16, and Brandon Cooks as the wide receiver 20. So it's just a wide receiver heaven offense. Higbee saw about 14% target share last year. I think it goes down, if anything, from this. Van Jefferson, about 15% target share. He'll be a non-factor. It's going to be the 2 big guys in Woods. In Kupp and Allen Robinson, seeing about 25% target share for Kupp, probably 23% target share for Robinson. I could easily see 2 top 12 receivers coming out of this situation if Robinson's at all the guy we used to see back with the Bears. I could see 2 top 5 receivers if he's that guy that was, just a couple seasons ago, the wide receiver 8 with Trubisky. I could see him absolutely blowing up. This is a huge deal now that Robert Woods has been traded.
I will say, and I got to take off, but in a vacuum right now, this season, I like Allen Robinson more than Amari Cooper.
Wow. Pretty bold.
Yeah, I do.
The offense is certainly better for wide receiver production. With Cooper being the clear-cut number 1, Robinson kind of being the clear-cut number 2.
We'll see. I don't know. Where are you going to rank Robinson? Where do you have Robinson right now on your board, like as of today?
I haven't adjusted yet. I was getting to that right as we were going live here. I'll pull up the rankings here, though. I have them up. I had him at wide receiver 30, thinking him and Woods were going to be kind of cannibalizing each other. I would say, okay, what do you think of T. Higgins versus Allen Robinson? I'm probably going T.
I'm very, very close. I maybe lean T.
Where we get to Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas.
And I like him more than Michael Thomas.
I think that's going to be the tier for me. It's
what tier is that?
That's my 4th tier. It's with Michael Thomas.
Godwin, what number are they?
Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, Elijah Moore.
I like him more, certainly more than Elijah Moore.
Yeah. No, that's where I have Hopkins too low. I just realized that. I don't know. He must have gotten switched by accident
Yeah.
on me here. But no, I have it. He might be in the tier above with like more so the Higgins, the Johnsons, the Waddles, the Amari Coopers. He might be in that range. I'll have to sift through it. Where
All
I
right.
have,
Well, once you come out with your adjustment, I'll argue with you. And
I'm gonna
possibly I'm just caught up in the moment right now.
right now. I'm slotting him in at wide receiver 20, assuming Godwin plays.
I think I like
all
it
the
more than
games
that
this year. If we get wind that Godwin's probably going to be limited and miss some time, I'll probably have him at like 19 or 18. But I like Michael Thomas and Elijah Moore as number ones just a little more. But part of me is pretty hesitant. Again, those numbers I just said, 2 top 20 receivers in 4 or 5 years, and I only put Allen Robinson, who might be the best. He's certainly better than Woods, in my opinion.
I like Robinson better than both of those guys.
I think I do too. The more I'm talking about it here,
I mean, I'll take the Elijah Moore, Allen Robinson bet all day long.
You would take who?
Robinson
versus who?
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I mean, he's more proven. Moore was so good for that stretch, but yeah, I mean, Robinson's going to be a beast right now. So yeah, I love the move.
Good discussion, though. I want to talk about it more once we got our ducks in a row a little bit more. Unfortunately, I have to run. It's 8:30. So Wolfpack, RSJ fans, I will see you either tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever the Wolf goes back on the air. But he's going to take you home. So thanks for tuning in. Give us a like. Give me a like.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.